respect. It's time to get unfiltered. No holding back. This is unfiltered. This is unfiltered.
You mentioned Queen and Slim, right? Did somebody say not to talk about it? Because I kind of would like to.
I'm not gonna go see it, so I don't care. Y'all can talk about it all day.
What about you?
I saw it.
Okay, can y'all just give me something on it?
I really liked it. I feel like it was shot really well visually, and then I like the way that it kind of like sprinkled little nuggets throughout the movie, like things that I think the audience kind of, you know, needed to take away. And it was very interesting to see how two people who were strangers, because essentially they met off Tinder, and seeing the evolution of them becoming kind of these surface type of people. Like, you know, when you're on the internet, you project whatever, you know, you want your representative to be. But it was like, it kind of, the situation forced them to kind of really strip and kind of truly be who they were and live life to the fullest. But I liked it. It was good.
I agree completely. The cinematography I thought was amazing. Like this little this ongoing theme throughout the movie. Like you can see it and you can feel it. Like how they they continue like a conversation, but on the screen it's like still shots of like, you know, just people's profile and stuff, and like it gives like deeper meaning to what's actually being said, and like you listen more. So I guess that's kind of like what you're saying about the nuggets being sprinkled. Yeah, and like I said, I agree. Just to touch on another thing you were saying about how they grew as like a couple throughout the situation, like going from not knowing each other to being in a situation that brought them together.
It was almost like you were watching them live out a marriage. Like, you know how when they say you're married, y'all are, you know, till death do us part. We're in this together regardless of, you know, what you think or whatever. We have to move forward. It's kind of like, it was cool to see that play out between two strangers.
It was like that situation kind of just speeded up the timeline of a full-blown relationship, and it was interesting to see and funny at times, like to see like how like different.
It was a lot of funny parts in the
like
movie.
just to see like different interactions between a couple that you have to go through, like grow through, and they had to go through it quickly because they were thrown together into the situation, and it's like you can't leave because we're in this. So it's like how you deal with it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I mean, I won't say I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to the movies to see it, but I'll probably
eventually watch it.
Because I still haven't seen Us, so.
I haven't. Ooh, I'm gonna take you one back. I haven't seen Get Out.
Yikes. Now that's. I understood Get Out. I
Which
heard
stars the same actor.
And he's pretty good too.
Does it have the same actor?
Yeah. For the
Oh, he's like
Queen
Daniel
Slim.
Kaluuya.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be interesting.
He's also in Black Panther.
He is.
Get them credits up.
I didn't like how it ended though.
I didn't either, but
I like
I
how
will
it
just
ended.
leave it like that.
Yeah, I'll say
For the
that.
people.
No spoilers. I didn't like how it ended.
I mean, you probably could have guessed it was gonna end bad. All black stories end bad, which is what I see they be talking about. They, you know, it's always people that be fake mad about stuff. They don't like how the movie ended because a black people never have fairy tale endings in their movies.
Not necessarily. It's. I'll put it like this: the build up of the movie throughout the movie. I'll just say this. At first they thought that they were alone, but then it seemed like they had a network of support, and it didn't end that way.
Right. So yeah. So like that's why I say I was disappointed because like to what you're saying is like okay, people are disappointed because It's not a fairy tale ending, but throughout the whole movie and the theme of the movie is like, okay, the narrative is being changed. Like even from the beginning of the movie, the whole situation is the narrative changed. It wasn't the cop killing these black people. It was, okay, they defended themselves, you know. That's in the trailer. We know that. They killed the cop. So the whole aspect of this narrative being changed, I thought at the end
it was messed up because it's like they built you up to believe something and then it didn't end the way that
because I'll say this, it was like they were building up to be some heroes and I wanted a hero ending, you know.
And they said, and this is what really happens.
Yeah.
So,
and how it happened was
well, that's how it happened too.
Yeah.
I feel like y'all are getting real close to spoiling everything.
Okay, so that's why I said we'll just leave it like
but
that.
remind me off
We'll
camera
talk.
about my theory, because I can then actually get.
No, you could give theory. What's your theory?
That's what's up.
Sam was ready to move on, so I was just gonna move
That's
with the
fine.
time. So just remind me off camera, because I think it sounds stupid, but in my head I think it's really good. Anyway, so let us move into some entertainment. So first of all, before all else fails, I want to give a shout out to Tory Lanez in the mixtape.
Yeah, I was listening to that while I was sitting in the car.
Nice.
I like it.
Did we talk about this the last time?
We did.
I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Okay, moving forward. All right. So we'll go straight into it. Let's talk about, is there such thing as cultural appropriation for African Americans? Can we do it or not? Is it a performance that we could do?
Yeah. Everybody has culture, allegedly.
I feel like there was something that happened recently that had everyone talking about this.
The box braids from the
Bad
Catch Me
Baby.
Outside girl.
But
Snapped. I like her response.
I scrolled past that shit today. I'm not gonna read that. That was a long ass
But
paragraph.
basically,
It really was
what she was saying was that they shouldn't come for her because last time she checked, you know, black women, and she said specifically black women's hair doesn't grow out of their hair, out of their head straight.
Right.
So.
Like, because they came for her saying, "Oh, you're not supposed to get box braids, right?"
But she's trailer park trash, and them little trailer park trash do a lot of stuff that black people do, and when they do it, it's not like, oh, we trying to
because a lot of
sell
times
culture.
they're
It's just
amongst black people, so it's just like, oh, there go that little down ass white girl.
But I'm gonna say she's not the right one to say some shit like that. She finna get destroyed. However, point could be valid. But at the end of the day, like, to answer your question, I mean, yeah, like, every culture can appropriate because essentially everybody has culture.
Can we call it, or can we flip it? Is it possible for it to be considered a simulation?
A who?
A simulation.
Like fitting in.
You have to explain that.
Like
Yes.
simulation,
So,
like
for black women to have straight hair was a way to look more normal, was to fit in, was to blend in with hair was deemed to be nice. So we found a way to blend in. So we say this white girl who hangs out with, she may have had her fair share of black friends. Did she just because of the culture that she was around, like you said, she assimilated, so now she feels comfortable. She feels like, I've hung out enough.
I don't know. It's a thin line.
I
So
can get the box braids now.
It doesn't. So it's not cultural appropriation because you're saying that black women had to do it out of survival. Like basically that's the difference
I'm
between
saying that
cultural appropriation and assimilation.
No, I'm saying to blend it, like just to blend in with your atmosphere.
Right, but isn't that what cultural
Well,
appropriation
not
is?
always. Just
No, I thought cultural
because
appropriation was when they had a negative,
No.
it didn't come with the same positive.
not always
Yeah,
because
not
some
really.
people think that it's cultural appropriation when, let's say, people of non-Asian descent dress up like you know, geishas and ninjas and stuff like that for Halloween. Some people feel like that's very, you know, disrespectful. Some people think that it's disrespectful for, you know, people to use the words Indian and stuff like that, but it's just become something that's normal within our society. And I also feel like, I hate to say this, but it's kind of true, that I feel like white people really don't have culture. Like, so it's just like we're more, it's always an assimilation of what they have created systematically. Yeah.
The whole time, but I just
yes.
say that.
I mean, because they've created, you know, their playing field. So it's like if they say, oh, well, we like this, we're gonna take it and make it American culture, or we take this and, you know, we're gonna Americanize it. And it's just like,
so it's safe to say that white people are just as lost as black people in finding what their initial roots are.
not necessarily. I feel like the situations that black people have been put in, we've just naturally come up with our own culture, as far as like how we prepare food, how we, you know, do our hair, how we dress. It's all been, I mean, we have been known to have flavor, that extra little thing, and it's just like.
But do you get so? But okay, so is culture classified as flavor, or are you like? Because culture could be something like it's something completely different. You feel me? Like, so in this case with the Bad Bunny situation, she's saying that African American,
Barbie,
whatever.
You didn't bring up the drink. You been look. You real entitled, and I'm not going for it.
So what am I saying?
Waiting on its own.
Oh yeah, so what Bad
Baby.
whatever was saying is that African Americans, it's cultural appropriation when African American women perm their hair, because straight hair would be part of white people's culture, right? So that's culture, whether it's not flavorful, or, you know what I mean, it's still culture.
Straight hair is
I don't think that it's culture. I think
straight
that it's,
hair is not a part of white people culture, because Indians had straight hair too, and a lot of other fucking people has rich straight hair. So let's just be clear.
That's true.
Bobby.
it's been, I feel like it's, and somebody pointed it out on the internet,
true,
it's been a way to, it's been another systematic tool. So whereas you probably did have a lot of women who wore their natural hair, it's just like, you know, at some point in time within our society, so outside of culture, I think that it was pushed for black women to get their hair straightened for the sake of, again, fitting in within society. I mean, this is the same society that, you know, if Tab were to go into certain offices in corporate America, they would deem her hair still to this day not professional.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it's growing out of her hair. She can maintain it. It can look neat, but how? I mean,
Right, but then that's a whole nother question. Why does it have to look neat?
And it's also important to remember
If
that
you need to grow, how
Right.
to grow out your hair.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why can't I just be wearing nasty dreads?
yeah, and like y'all saying, it's also important to remember that it like y'all are saying, it's more than just cultural appropriation when you kind of have to do it to survive, right? It's like you were barred from doing certain things if you didn't look a certain way as an African American.
Yeah, that's why it was a debate, because it was like some people were agreeing with her, but then it's just like if you look over time throughout history, it's just like some women, I mean, up until like now, like recently, being natural has become popular. I remember being in high school, it was literally, I could probably count on one hand how many girls I remember being natural.
That's true.
Right. Well, let's not even.
natural.
It used to be all kinds of. It used to be all kinds of ghetto hairstyles with that plastic hair back then.
Yeah,
Hoes wasn't even getting human hair. Y'all had that synthetic shit.
That Milky Way.
Yeah. They had it too.
But at the end of the day, I'm so over all this shit. Like, just mind your fucking business. Like, who cares if she has braids?
Just let her have them
What
braids.
is it?
Right. And I
It's
just
like-
I honestly feel like that's what it is to me. Like, cause even Cardi, like when Cardi had fucking braids, like
she had
that was
braids
it.
for a long time when
Exactly.
she was stripping, when nobody even knew who Cardi was.
Right, but then she had braids in the Please Me video, and people was trying to come for her because she had the zigzag braids with the beads. Like, I'm like, come on, it's just a hairstyle. You don't think that a black stylist might have done her hair, which means of course she's gonna put her culture in the style that she's doing right now. Like, get the fuck out of here.
And then I think a lot of times people try to, because I feel like her Hispanic side is more, I guess, prominent, they try to disregard that she's part black as well. Like, that part always.
It is allegedly.
I would like to see the birth certificates of both parents.
Well, I digress. I feel like I feel like eventually, with the way that the younger generation is, I feel like it's going to be less issues with kids experimenting and kind of just being who they are, regardless of race and all that. Because I feel like the younger generation, they just try anything.
Right, because you got
they
people
don't
out here
care.
walking around looking like Post Malone.
Yeah, so.
And I still getting mixed up with so many people.
It's usually always the older people that just be like, oh, this young girl is just so disrespectful.
Well,
Thank you.
she got popular for being
disrespectful. Yeah, that's
so
true.
That's the chick that was on Dr. Phil, right?
Yeah.
Catch
Catch me outside.
Her mama, catch me outside, be how I did.
Well, has anybody ever found out that she got into a fight? Like, I'm sure she.
No, yeah, she be fighting all the time.
Oh, she was supposed to be fighting with
She get beat up all the time.
That's
some
what I'm
other
trying to figure
dumbass
out. Like,
young
if she at
person.
least giving
What?
people hands.
Yes, somebody. I
Go
can't.
Vicky.
Yeah, that. Like, but
The
who
other
are these
girl?
people and why do people care? Like,
Because they're popular on social media.
hoes be sitting there watching YouTube videos and shit. Like, go to sleep. I'm just not impressed by none of that.
I guess it seems so old. Like, there's so many things that we can do with our social media time. While you wasting your time on this video.
Right, there's a
Make some real
whole
money.
impeachment going on.
Well, you know, I think a lot of
That's
times
real. So I'm so glad you said that, because I was only gonna touch the surface of Kamala Harris dropping out of the presidential race, and she blamed it on
the fact that she
financially
was black.
that she couldn't afford it, and Donald Trump like seed her out with a little tweet telling her, you know, we wish you could have stayed in, basically, and
Right, because we
telling
would have
him-
loved to beat you.
Right. Well,
He not gonna beat you.
I don't know who he's gonna compete against at this point.
Ain't no competition. But this is the exact same
Hillary
thing.
might run again, and she may just be being
This is
quiet.
the exact same thing I said from the very start when we always like, you not gonna watch the debates? No, because it's too many people trying to do it, and none of them are good.
No, we.
There's good parts about everyone, and I'm definitely not looking for nobody perfect. But I don't even see nobody outside of Warren at this point that I would even entertain.
I see
But
you.
I can't even really entertain her because whoever, the Republicans are going to end up having to put somebody up to office. Like, Trump's not going to be able to run again with the impeachment going. If they don't successfully impeach him, it's going to taint him so bad that they cannot put this man up for their nomination. Like, it just can't happen. Somebody got to
I
win.
tried though.
This shit crazy.
I mean, it's just
Bernie ain't dropped out yet. Why is he still wasting
So hold
people's
on,
money?
hold on, wait.
Biden, every time, like, Biden has talked himself so deep off the pedestal that he left office with. It's ridiculous. Like, my nigga, you had the race won by a mile, and now it's like, nigga, we don't even want to vote for you.
I
Like,
don't want to vote for you, exactly.
politics. And now, 2020 is in week. Like, so, like then I'm in Tennessee, leaving Tennessee today, and somebody got a big ass Trump 2020 sign up. I was like, these motherfuckers here, boy. Like, white people to Trump and racism is like black people and R. Kelly. Like,
yeah,
you know it's bad. All the proof is there. It's a horrible situation, and niggas just won't stop fucking with it. Like what? You know he's trash. Like, he tweets how trash he is,
and those are his
every
tweets.
day. Like, everything that comes out this man's mouth is garbage.
Like it's in the words of the song. The evidence is there.
Right, and niggas is just like, shit. Let's step in the name of love.
That was a good comparison.
What happens if they don't impeach him though?
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, it's really, and this just because I watched Scandal and they tried to impeach, and they got and they had all the proof, and they literally had all the proof to impeach the president on Scandal, and still didn't impeach him.
What happened?
Child, all the people on the Senate had stuff that they got blackmailed into just stopping it. But if he doesn't, that's what I'm saying. If he doesn't get impeached, he's tainted to the point where he should not be able to be president.
What you mean tainted though? He's still the sitting president, so
right.
Like,
and
you have to.
The sitting president. The sitting president can apply. He fills out paperwork with an intent to run again. But as a Republican Party, they do not have to accept the nomination of a sitting president. And it's unprecedented, but it can happen. I'm just saying.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm saying you saying it can't happen. I'm gonna tell you why I don't think it will. Because if he doesn't get impeached and he's able to run again, I feel like he has a good possibility of winning again, which is scary.
It's scary either way because the Democrats don't got nobody worth shit either.
And so that means they'll have to come in and clean house. And then there's going to be a lot of pushbacks on certain things that Trump has put into place.
Let's talk about this fucking wall that's got approved for money. Government shutting down and shit. But it ain't no wall construction, and it's not gonna be no wall construction before his jackass get out of office. So what the hell? That was his whole platform. He did nothing.
Yeah, he did.
But take away money from Special Olympics.
But what everybody's gonna say is you got to give him another 4 years to get it done. That he's got the approval.
We're beyond
now you got to give him another 4 years to let him do
that's
it.
What's going on.
We're past that.
All his things.
But that's the campaign they're gonna start running. I've been given this opportunity. Now allow me these 4 years to finish what I said I was gonna do. It is, but it works for white people. Well, no, let me not say just white people. It works for people who get that tax benefit. Because a lot of them are only voting for that reason for him. Is to make sure that their dollars are being accounted for. I'd like to know who that candidate is.
Shit, Stacey Abrams, duh.
For president?
Yes.
Really?
She's electric. And she don't just talk about shit, she do shit. Like, they scared of a black woman, so be it, but she could get stuff done.
That would have been the black woman to do it?
Yeah, because Auntie Kamala wasn't going to cut it. But the thing is, what I will say about her is all the shit that, like, people are just so, like, one thing, like, oh, I don't like her because she locked people up. Okay, that's one thing. Like, what more do you not like her for? Like, you saying, okay, that one thing is just like a deal breaker. Like, motherfucker, your baby mama put up with all 20 of your bad traits. Like, but niggas is dead ass be trying to talk about that.
But we
like,
be the hardest on each other, and then we'll sit here and be like, yeah, I can see myself voting for Joe Biden.
Right.
Like he didn't do some
But
crazy
I feel
behind
like
stuff too.
overall, I don't really follow politics, as I've said many times before. But I feel like overall the problem is people will, like Sam said, take that one bad characteristic or what have you and amplify on it. And I think that's because a lot of people are lazy and don't want to do their own individual research. So they will feed into the agendas that the media creates against these candidates. And it's just like, oh, well, if all I see about Kamala Harris is that, oh, she locked up people, she locked up people, she locked up people. Oh, I got a homeboy, I got a brother, I got a sister that's in jail. Oh, I don't like that bitch, I ain't voting for her. So then it just becomes a popularity contest because it's just like whoever you follow, you're feeding into whoever they're feeding into.
It's like an endorsement. You
Exactly.
take the side.
And it's sometimes, a lot of times, depending on who you follow, is really a matter of the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
If that person doesn't really know anything, but they're just all for this person, vote for this person, vote for this person, or dislike this person, it's like they believe in this celebrity or this Insta star so much, it's just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna do whatever they do. Instead of doing your own research. It's stuff out there about all of these candidates.
For them, it's easier for somebody to tell me the information than for me to actually have to go look for it. The same information that I can go Google about, I'll tell you, well, send me a link.
I mean, honestly, I think that's why Trump won.
He had enough support. He had enough.
It
people
was
to
why
agree.
he won, because white people gonna be racist and support that shit at all costs. Whereas anytime a black person would get a chance to stop that shit, they gonna let what they individual thought in their head or something that they might have heard, like it's just like stuck there pulsating. Like, no, nigga, think for yourself sometimes.
Right.
Like, what is wrong with us? They gonna stick together regardless.
I hate you, you hate me,
They
but we
gonna-
hate this person more.
Oh.
That's real.
I'm hungry.
Ooh, okay, you guys. So I fed into the hype, and I got the chicken sandwich from Popeyes. Yes.
Did I tell you
How long did you wait for it?
I just this past week was the first time I tried it.
No, like,
I
No, I'm
had
saying
it.
how long did you wait
Oh,
for it?
lines ain't long.
Oh no, just a regular Popeyes wait, like
Right.
how you would wait on chicken.
Nah, my chicken be coming out fast.
Yeah,
Was it good?
It was to me. I
You liked
had
it?
it like.
Which one you got,
2
classic or
times.
spicy?
I tried both because I
Both.
wanted to make sure I tried both, and I tried them both with sweet heat. I enjoy both of them, and
Right,
I
but that's
the extra
cheating,
pickles gotta
though.
be there. I gotta have extra pickles.
That's cheating.
Why does cheating?
Because it doesn't come with sweet heat sauce.
No, I have to add it, but
Exactly. You
I
have
just
to
did
add.
it.
You have to add a sauce to that dry ass
That's
jean
exactly
jacket,
what it
I
is.
didn't know
fluff
that.
ass chicken.
It's so
I didn't know about
I
the
like
extra
the
sauce.
season.
No,
you can
like,
add
it's a-
it.
I didn't know
dipping
that.
sauce
I didn't
that
know
they
I
have.
just added
Yeah,
sauce.
you-
Nobody
It's a
If you
told me.
did it
dipping
again,
sauce
yeah.
like that you can get with chicken tenders. You
Yeah.
add, but sweet
Sweet
heat
heat,
is like the
yeah,
sweet
yeah.
and spicy
Oh,
sauce.
it's such a good kick to it.
At the end
But
of
it
the
is because
day,
it's dry. I ain't gonna flex. It's
So
dry.
let me tell y'all.
on my
Seasoned dry
Chick-fil-A
chicken.
spicy sandwich, I don't never have to put no sauce on it.
Can I tell y'all what sandwich
Ever.
is shitting on all y'all sandwiches?
What?
Hattie B's got the best chicken ever.
They have hot chicken. Now the thing
They
is,
do be hot.
that might be cute in Atlanta, but like Nashville has
can find it
the
everywhere.
bajillion
It's-
times better than Hattie B's. But it's like it's a style of chicken that
No, I'm talking about the
I want
sandwich
to try
though.
something authentic.
I'm talking about the chicken
Authentic.
sandwich.
is it a hot
Hot
chicken
chicken.
sandwich though?
No, you can get the regular. I got
The
classic,
temperature, I know
yeah.
you can change the temperature. Why is theirs so good?
You asking me? I don't cook.
Every white
No, I'm saying you said it was good.
Yo,
Stand
yeah.
outside.
With your taste buds,
No, it
explain
was-
to
listen,
me
it
why
got-
it is so good.
Listen, okay, so they make it. You gotta put a toothpick through it, so like to hold it together.
Ooh.
They put their coleslaw on top. They got the
You
pickle
lost
on the bottom. No, it's good,
I don't
bro. I'm
eat
trying to
coleslaw.
tell you. I'm saying you eat like let it whatever. So right, so they got the sauce on that thing.
See, I'm a sauce person.
The
So
sauce
things
with
that I
dripping.
have to
Yo,
have sauce.
man, look, man.
in the future you'll be able to show us this video or whatever it is that you want to show us. But I'm a sauce kind of person, so I got to dip. And I have to have extra. Sorry, I'm talking about food.
The only sauce, the sauce that I need to buy a whole case from Popeyes is the black and ranch. Like, it's like I love ranch, but that black and ranch, that shit just hits different. It tastes so good.
Spice to it?
Yes, and I eat it with my spicy chicken. Like, I'll get my little 2-piece or 3-piece dinner and be like, can I please get 2 black and ranch? Like, please. So good.
They charge you for sauce.
They do.
I'm still over places charging you for sauce.
But they only charge you. They only charge you if you ask in advance. Like every time I go inside, cause I always get my chicken from inside. So when they give it to me,
you can I get?
Oh no, could never.
Okay, you come up over here.
I actually go to the. I told you I be going to one to Redan.
Oh, that's why they just
I don't eat chicken, but they line don't be as long as it.
But even a few weeks ago when I was in the West End, I went to the one off Lee Street or whatever, and
maybe they just love y'all because up here they charge now.
They got me 2 of them hoes, like.
They are charging.
And speaking of the one on the West End,
what?
right off the exit.
You talking about Popeyes?
Yeah.
Oh.
I went to that shit, and not only did I not have to ask them for nothing, like the bag had all the honey, hot sauce, napkins, fork, and everything.
Yeah, because
he gave me 2 free sauces. And it was the hood. I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, the only thing I don't like about them is they don't have the shrimp po' boy.
You know, there's a place where you can get a shrimp po' boy called Just Loafing.
Where's that?
It's off of, I think it's off of, it's in Edgewood, I know. So it's in that Edgewood area. But I got it from Uber Eats.
No, but you know Popeyes, Popeyes has a shrimp po' boy on the menu, but that Popeyes doesn't
offer it. They probably
and they have it on the menu. It's just we just don't have it.
They probably just don't. It doesn't sell there. Like people have real seafood places they can go to for a po' boy in the area, so it don't sell there. So they took it off the menu. You know they can. You know.
So we shouting out food places for wings. Y'all ever been to the Glenwood?
Yeah. You talking about East 11 Village? Not for their food per se, but no. Didn't we go there?
Where?
The Glenwood. Like me, you and Sade one day. And we was in East Atlanta Village. And we in Bryan.
Yo, the wings are busting.
It was like a little bar we randomly went to one day. I think we went there. It's by Graveyard, right?
Yep.
I haven't. I'm jealous.
I ain't get no wings though. So who we cussing out next?
Let's go ahead and talk about Mike Vick. I don't know full details about the situation, but what I do know from just looking at doing a quick review, it sounds like a petition has been delivered, and the purpose of the petition is to not allow for Mike Vick to be a part of the Pro Bowl captains. I guess it's like a Hall of Fame.
They have Pro Bowl captains because they pick, like, the captains pick the players. Like, it's not it's not conference versus conference anymore.
So it's like a tournament.
Well,
no, like how the NBA last time was the team LeBron versus.
You said like a fantasy,
right? So that's how they do it, and every year it's different coaches that are NFL legends, and Mike Vick is going to still be a coach for the fucking Pro Bowl. So take your petition, throw that shit away, get a new hobby. Like, there's Mike Vick being a coach for the Pro Bowl, which, by the way, is like the least watched football game of the season for the NFL, which means you're doing all this bitching and you're not gonna watch the game any fucking way. what's the point?
That's
Like,
true.
Mike Vick ain't do nothing to y'all.
I think
And
that's
then I feel like it's crazy. I don't, y'all, I don't follow sport. But I think that the whole situation is crazy just for the simple fact that you're putting more spotlight on this person even before the show airs.
and that could be the reason why. Let's get some hype behind this. Let's see if we can draw in some ratings by bringing this petition forth. Media has a nice way of making sure that they get their numbers when they want to get them. So I think it could just be a way to put something out there so that they can see what all attention they can get from this. Is it worth covering on television?
My thing
Keep it
is,
going in the blogs.
from what I saw from on social media and stuff, like just the outrage of anything good happening for this man is like ridiculous.
So we agree that they just need to move on from it and just let
Especially
it
if it's something that he, like, Focus said, he actually served time for it. So it's just like, at the end of the day, he's done his time. Let him live his life.
be. All right, let them move on. If you say that this is the consequence he served it, let him be. Don't keep punishing him. All right, so I got a question for the fellas. Have you guys been watching any basketball and stuff?
I'm watching highlights and stuff.
Only reason why I asked is because in so
I'm waiting on your question.
okay. My question is, do we think that they're saying the numbers for basketball is going down? Is it because of how the new generation has started to play the game of basketball? Like the politics and things behind what the old heads were doing, kind of still are doing, and then what the new guys
That's
are
an
doing?
interesting question. Can I answer? So, in my opinion, the game has gotten a lot more boring because of how the game's being played now, with all these superstars teaming up and going to all these one team. Like, it's predictable now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's like a soap opera now. It's like, oh, this is the fairy tale team of the West, and this is the fairy tale team of the East, and they're gonna run for 2-3 years. It was Golden State for the West. Now it's gonna be the Lakers, and we know it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we know LeBron, AD, and McGee, all of them are gonna show out on the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, then now we're waiting on KD to get better, to see him play with Kyrie in Brooklyn. Like, it's boring now. It's like there's no competition.
No strategy, is more checkers and not chess.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like a good opinion.
Come
But the
on,
real
color
thing
commentator.
Let's be real. People don't watch basketball till football season is over.
That too.
So, just
They're
like
saying with the injury list and things of how people, like the ability for
That's-
the kids to be out, they're saying it's kind of like
that, the
And
kids. These is grown men.
See, I was
the
gonna say that.
18-year-olds, the 19-year-olds, the
Them
beginning.
not the motherfuckers missing the games. It's the LeBrons
the
and the Kawhis
touche.
and the people that. Okay. Basketball is 82 games.
Because they're talking about shortening.
It starts. Shit, the Hawks was playing in October.
October.
It starts in October.
Mm-hmm.
It goes all the way till June.
Yeah, people mostly tune in to like around December.
People
No, not to
Watch.
the Super Bowl. You right?
people watch baseball all season long, which I don't understand how they do because they play way too many games. Basketball plays way too many games. Like, honestly, and this is just because in America, which is a part of, if we want to talk about the lack of culture or culture that white people have, football is something that white people love. Like, they really do.
Yeah.
This shit gonna get watched from September to February. And any normal team, like, the team don't make the playoffs, you still watching the playoffs and stuff. But even still, like if it's from September to December, that is a short amount of time. It has your attention 3 months. Boom. These niggas really think I'm finna watch game 1 to game 82 and then watch the playoffs, which takes forever. The playoffs starts in the middle of April,
Like right
and
after March Madness.
and they play every night. Like
Yep.
it's just a lot.
They tired of
And
it
it's
so
not.
much.
And it's not the fact that the product isn't entertaining. I feel like these niggas nowadays are more entertaining than some of the old ways of basketball because it's showy. Like, and we know their personalities. Like, we want to watch it, but it's just like it's just not time yet. Like, get at me when it starts meaning something, and that's the same thing. That's how college basketball is. College basketball is the exact same way. They are playing right now. It is people that might watch a college basketball game occasionally if it's a good matchup, but otherwise, people are not watching that shit until March, to the March Madness tournament. Period. That's when it matters. Like, I could be like, and it really is the schedule length. Like I'm sitting here watching a game as a fan. I'm putting my heart and soul into watching it, my passion. I cannot give you 82 games of passion. Like, if you lose to the Suns one day by 30, but what does that mean if you end up being 68 and 12? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't really matter.
Okay.
But when they know they in the playoffs and shit, they ratings is sky high.
That's true.
Facts.
So I think that's a good point you made, but I really just think it's just the will of the amount of shit, the amount of games.
I was thinking exactly what you were saying too, but also with the question was like comparison to like other seasons, I guess. So it's like it's always been that way how you're saying. So if it's been a decrease, I feel like it's a reason. So, and I feel like the people who were paying attention before, like while we weren't, they're not paying attention anymore.
The cut and dry answer is niggas don't watch TV like that.
No more. Yeah, so, too, and that's changing too. Yeah,
like
people are streaming and everything now. So.
Right.
That's
you know what I'm saying? The numbers, like, I still never understood the numbers, like, how you know what I'm watching, like?
Because we are buying into these package deals. So I feel like
Allegedly, right? But if I'm using an antenna in my house, how you know I'm watching the fucking football game or the basketball game?
true. I feel like anywhere they have an IP address, they have way of collecting data. If you give them that option
That goes against the Privacy Act.
there's always clauses in there. Not saying that that's not one of
Sue
them.
'em.
Make some money. I'm sure they done clean through whatever it is to make sure they can't get sued. So,
They stupider than they look.
I want to close off with some with this topic. So let's talk about Dwayne Wade, and let's talk about just something, because it's obviously going to turn into something positive, because we would never have a conversation like this one and then leave off on something bad. So it's definitely a move us forward into not say something positive, and then it'd be a nice way to kind of just ease it out. So I just want to talk about with all of the positive moves that the family has made, why does it seem like we still have they, and I quote they because we never know who they is, but it's something that's always circulating on social media with no founding source, but who say that they don't like the way D-Wade is accepting how his son is, or how he's handling his son and his coming out. Or not even that his coming out, because it's really not that, of just the fact of him being gay in general, because I'm sure they've already known before social media knew anything.
Yo, how old is his son?
He's a teenager, it's like 13, but is he somewhere between 10 and 13, something like
Yeah.
that? He's
He's young.
Like say like 11, 12?
Yeah, he's
Like 12.
In middle, I was about to say he's a middle schooler, and it's early enough. I've seen kids out there at the middle school who, you know.
I think what I noticed lately on the like what was big in the social media lately was the picture where they was all standing on the stairs, and
His son had a crop top on.
Crop top on and long pointed nails, right? So
I'm not gonna do this today.
So it's valid. So my thing is, if this kid, right, I don't know what goes on in the household as far like you can't say you have a problem with how he's raising his son or whatever. But the question is, or my question is, y'all don't feel like he's being a little bit extra accepting as a compensation for his son being gay? Like, you don't think like if it was the other way around, it would be like, nah, hold on, like as far as sexuality and all that goes, like, okay, let's accept him being gay, but let's go to gay pride.
I think it comes
festivals. Let's hang out in these gay bars. That's extra.
I would.
He's not going to no gay bar.
Because he's a kid. He's literally a kid. I would give.
He's literally
I don't know.
Okay, so first of all,
anyway, say all that to say. I say all that to say.
gay.
Okay, cool. I say all this.
He's
transgender.
Okay.
We have to use the proper terms because it's not the same shit.
I don't.
No, I'm just
I
saying.
apologize.
Transgender, and that's
Which
the
would
issue.
explain why he would have more feminine traits out there. And it also would explain too why, as a family member, I'm going to hold you close and I'm going to embrace the culture. Because just like I just sat here and referred to him as something that's not what he is himself. So if he's transgender, then he should have been recognized that way. But until you submerge yourself into the culture and embrace it, then, you know, they don't know anything until they live it and they see what it's all about. So I think that could have been what they were doing.
And me personally, like, I don't really want to get involved in the politics of that.
Once again, as we were talking previously about the whole bad baby situation, you have a lot of older people that are ignorant to a lot of the progressions going on in society, that have so much to say about things, that are so in an uproar about stuff because they themselves don't understand it. They themselves had cousins, brothers, family members that were clearly gay, transgender, or whatever, and the families just kind of sweep that shit under the rug, and it was just supposed to let it ride. I think that there's a level of uncomfort that comes about when your favorite, you know, basketball player or somebody that you have respect for have this same thing going on, and they decide to take a different approach and actually accept it head on and do something about it. I feel like in this day and time, there are so many kids that feel an immense level of pressure on themselves, and that end up, you know, harming themselves and things of that nature because they feel like they can't be expressive. There's so many outlets where now feelings that kids may have had back in the day, there's something that they can, you know, that's tangible, that they can place a face with. You know, well, I feel this way. I feel like, you know, inside I'm really a woman. Oh, that means transgender. Whereas before, people were feeling these things and they didn't know what that meant. They didn't know how they could express themselves. They didn't know how they could move forward with what they were feeling. So I think for people to sit up here and down him for accepting his son and really, I guess, helping him helping him to be who he wants to be. I just feel like I hate that people are bashing him for that. Like, he's at this point, he's undergoing puberty. He knows what he feels inside.
Yeah, no, but you didn't address nothing I said though. Like, so why is it okay for this 11, 12-year-old to be going to festivals and
A pride parade, just
right,
like
whatever.
just like you could take your 12-year-old to a fucking Comic-Con thing or
He's
any
being
other dance
supportive.
festival, any other thing that they're
No,
interested in
because-
or who they are.
No, that's not the same thing.
Take your 12-year-old
You
to a
don't
fucking protest for hands up.
so could you keep concentrating on that one thing? And that's what I said. Going to festivals, wearing crop tops, and wearing long pointed nails.
Well, there's girls. There are
There's girls
out
in
there that
elementary
wear
school
crop tops
with
and
press-on
their
nails
parents
and
Right,
make
and
their kids
that's
dress
what,
that way.
and that's okay.
It's not
Like
just
when
the-
you see girls in elementary school with press-on nails and crop tops, and
They
then you
wear
look
it.
at them and you say, "I wouldn't want
see.
my child doing that."
Oh,
Correct.
exactly.
Yes.
You wouldn't want your child doing that, and that's the only fucking point that matters. It's your child. So
Understood.
why are you trying to police somebody else's child or how they
It's
treat
not
their
about-
child?
But that's
It's-
what we're
no,
saying. People are
right.
doing.
That's what I'm saying. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's where people.
But that's
have
what
conflicts. You're.
we already
listen,
explained that.
I'm saying that's where it's not about him being transgender. That's what I'm saying. It's like you. That's the point I'm trying to make.
You're not making a point. So
It's not. That is making the point. Y'all are saying that it's y'all don't understand the
You
transgender
have one
culture and
sentence.
this, that,
In
and
one
that.
sentence, tell me what your point was.
It's not about the transgender culture. People have a conflict with how he is raising his child and not setting any boundaries.
What is your point, though?
How's that not a point?
Okay, so
That's what you're
this is the
saying,
thing.
but I'm saying,
Okay,
like-
so people would still have an issue. So regardless of the pointed nails thing, let's take that away. Let's take him allowing him to go to Pride away. Let's take away him wearing a crop top, which preteens do. But let's take that away. If he just allowed his son to wear wigs because that makes him feel more feminine, and he allowed his son to wear dresses and wear heels, short heels, which is something that girls of that age do, people would still have a problem with it because of the fact that he was born a male, and here it is, you are allowing him or parenting him in a way that you have not created the boundary of, oh, you need to wear boy clothes.
No, of course. That is what you're saying is true. Of course, no matter what, because of
It's gonna be an issue, period.
right. But I'm saying we're not gonna just discuss that being just the issue, period. I'm saying we're discussing one thing, the instance of this photo that was being attacked because they're like, oh my God, why y'all let him dress like that? That's what I'm discussing. We're not just oh well, no matter what he does because he's transgender or somebody's gonna have a problem with it. Duh, yeah, there's simple-minded people out there who just gonna have a problem just because he's different. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about this one picture that got under attack in the fucking social media over the last week.
Right, so what side are you on? What point are you defending? What point are you trying to make? Because you keep doing all this talking, you have not said nothing.
I literally said, all right, whatever. Like, no point at all. Or,
Oh my God.
I guess.
No, it's not moving on. Like we supposed to be having a show where you give information, and all you said was you keep running around in a circle about.
You're so upset.
I'm not. You keep running around in a circle saying it's not about being a transgender. It's not about being transgender. But you're not offering a point. That I'm saying.
What's not offering a point? We're talking about parenting.
What side of the issue are you
We're talking about
on?
parenting. That's
Are
what's
you
gonna
saying
piss me
he's
off.
are
If
you
you're not gonna
saying he's
listen and
a
just-
good? Are you saying he's a good parent, or are you saying he's a bad parent?
If you're gonna ask me, I think he is a bad parent because he's not setting any boundaries in raising his child. It's not about being accepting of his culture. He can, when his child is grown and wearing wigs and short dresses, and be like, yeah, girl, come on, let's go to the club. When he's grown, fine. He's not grown. He's 11, 12 years old.
And that's
what
all
I'm saying.
That's all I wanted you to say.
It's not
was
about
your
him.
point.
I've said that several times. It's not about him being transgender, homosexual, whatever. It is about the age and the parenting. That's what I've said several times. You telling me it's not a point, then cool, it's not a point. That's what I'm saying. When my daughter is grown, we're gonna hang out and go for drinks. I'm not gonna go and hang out and go for drinks with my daughter when she's 11 years old. doesn't go like that.
So
He's
what
saying
I
that you
think,
just in this instance, you created a
Yo, there's pictures of Holmes at the Pride Festival with the margarita glasses in his hand, right?
well, what
Well, I ain't seen nothing with no margarita glasses in it.
That's all, but that's what I'm saying. That's the
going to
stuff.
say is that kids of all types are brought to festivals that are for grown-ups. Very often, this
Cool.
situation is no different. So this basically, like you said, is just about his parenting skills in general. Less,
Like,
I don't know how to
like,
tie those
I
in
just feel like because
together.
it's celebrity and it's because it's a sensitive culture topic, it's like, okay, let's allow certain things. No, like, okay, yeah, kids go to festivals all the time, but we're talking about they're up on the flow. He has the tall margarita drink with the straw, like.
But it wasn't an alcoholic beverage because he's 12.
Okay, cool, but it's the image you're presenting, right?
but he's not.
Nigga, we was
Come on, you can-
my mama,
Come on, yo.
nigga, I was
Okay,
ordering
like I just said,
virgin daiquiris at 7 at
like
Red
I just said, I feel like because it's celebrity and because it's a hot topic little subject, you can't say nothing about it. But if it was regular Susie or regular Joe or your niece or nephew, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's a little bit much.
No, but
That's all I'm
we're saying
saying.
as kids, we
It's
did
much.
this
It's a
kind
lot.
of stuff though too.
Right. All I'm trying to say is you, like I said, you said you feel like he's been a bad parent because he's not setting boundaries for his child. Number one, like I said when we first started this conversation,
First of all, I don't feel like he's a bad parent.
You
I just
said that.
disagree.
You literally
I don't feel like he's a bad parent. I say he was being a bad parent. I disagree with this certain situation. Yes, I will say that. I don't think he's a bad parent across the board. No, and I commend him for him putting in the effort and being there for his children. Let's say that first of all. I can say that I disagree with how he handled this one situation. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with somebody. I don't like having children being over sexualized. Point blank period. No matter their sexuality. Take it how you want. Take it how you want. You say y'all did all that as kids. Cool. I didn't do that as a kid. I didn't see all that as a kid. I had boundaries. I had strict Jamaican parents. I guess I don't know. It's different from me. Like I grew up like. No, little girls don't put on makeup and all that stuff. No. Okay, cool.
You have to roll with the times or lose your children. Sometimes.
That's real too.
Exactly.
That's real too.
That's cool.
Because what we did growing up is completely different from what the kids are currently doing now. And we have witnessed a friend or someone, or we know, even if they weren't a friend, we know someone who lived that type of a lifestyle where they talked about doing things that we would be like, oh, my parents would never let me do something like that.
Right.
So there are normal people who don't have like this major $1 million amount of money who out here living just like this kid is living. And I mean, either way, this is just to spark the conversation in general. This is just to kind of get people looking at different standpoints, and it also expresses how we value and what we put as important in our morals and how we handle life. So for you, with your parenting skills, that's what you're going to choose to do. We are all going to agree. Is what I say.
Shout out to them. Shout out to D-Wade and Gabby for being good parents, not trying to keep shit inside of their child for the way that their child feels and taking it out on their child and allowing their child to express themselves, because a lot of the issues that people have as grown-ass adults now stem from their parents always telling them to shut up or don't do this, don't be yourself, and they couldn't talk to their parents about real life shit that they struggle with now. Now they're doing drugs and out here fucking putting their pussy and shit all over. It's just all over the internet. Everyone's talking about who's a bad parent.
Can I ask a question? So, where is the line drawn between, like, why is it such a parallel? Like, why is it you go from, when I said he's not setting I literally said he's not setting any boundaries, right? And now we're discussing militant discipline. Like, where's the?
Well, I feel
what
like
does a parent have to come in?
You're saying
But
you're not setting boundaries.
the thing is,
Where's the parent coming for?
but-
You got
He
in your
is,
household.
he's in control. He's in control. He's there with his son. He's providing that boundary because he's saying we together will embrace this instead of saying let me send you out there and say yeah
It's
it's
not
fine
about
to have him
sending
there. No, what I'm
boundaries.
saying is that he showed a level of boundary by saying okay, if this is something that you want to do, I'm not going to send you out here by yourself. Let's go and do this together.
Right.
So as a parent, I'm there.
I'm sure he went and go off and buy that crop top by himself, and when it got his nails done by himself.
To drink with your friends out there, the people who there are parents who say I'd rather you drink with me than to drink with someone out there, or you know what I mean. Like I would
Alright, so
rather you let me know
This
what's
is
going
what I'm
on.
saying. So in
than
that
to be quiet and
instance,
something.
let's leave this hot button subject away alone for a second, right? In this instance where you have the liberal parent who's like, I'd much rather you drink or smoke at home with me than be outside, getting in trouble, right?
Right.
So where does the line get drawn? Is it okay, cool, I understand you're being upset, you're accepting, and you're an open parent and you're guiding and you're there for him, right? But then do you go buy your 13, 14-year-old son a pound and tell him, hey, we party at the crib,
Okay.
invite all your friends? Like,
Did-
just you see that there's a difference and there's a scale of doing things.
But I wouldn't
don't
say
see
that.
those
Granted, I'm not a parent, but I feel like at the end of the day, we have to realize that children are still young people. So to sit up here and
Right.
say that there's one specific type of way to parent a child, you can't say that because children handle stuff differently.
No,
They are their
not
own
saying,
little
not
beings.
saying not just a specific way to parent child. And I also corrected myself and I
Depicting
said,
activity.
huh?
Is this just based on the activity that they were a part of?
Right. That's all I'm saying is these
Like
little.
why let him go to the festival in general?
Not even like
Or-
leave the festival alone. Like I'm not even that. It's just little nuanced things like. Okay, cool, you be accepting, but certain things I feel like you say for certain ages. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
That's your philosophy about parenting, and that's something that
Okay,
that's something that you
Because
have.
then- and I'm to the
that
place
doesn't
with a
mean
really
I'm saying
touchy
that they're bad
topic.
parents. Y'all keep saying
But
it's not
now
bad parenting.
I'm gonna put us in a very touchy subject. So if you say that, then now I'm gonna say, so now are we promoting what they consider rape culture? By saying just because this person wears this or they wear that, then that
'Cause you
takes them
got
away from
plenty
still
of
being a little girl.
that
Sure they're not.
that participate in normal activity. If your daughter was on a dance team or she was a cheerleader, they wear stuff that has their midriff
Exactly.
out all the time. And then on top of that,
Right.
if they are within competition, they're wearing lipstick, sometimes red lipstick
Right.
that can be seen as
full
No,
makeup face.
full makeup.
Exactly.
Listen, I understand.
Long weave,
and
long hair.
Right.
Obviously, they can't do nails just because of the style of activity that
But
it
they-
is. But if
it's-
it were
no, it's
leisure,
a whole
I'm sure they would
thing.
have nails too.
It's a whole thing, but it's also in context, right? So you know what is. Why is that funny? Why is that funny?
It is because you're saying it's in context, which is gonna bring back the part of why you really deep down think that D-Way is not setting boundaries for his son because of that shit. In
What
context. The context of her being transgender.
No, nigga, I said in context for being in a fucking dance show. What
And
are you
that
talking
is-
about?
That is something that is a hobby that they do. It's something
Wait,
that you
what?
it's something that you put your child in because your child likes to do it, right?
It's an activity.
It's an activity that
Right.
your child likes to do. So you're
Right.
gonna put them in
And,
there,
and it's in
of
context,
that.
right? So you have to be on stage. You have
My
to put
child
on the makeup
expresses
and
to
all
me
that
that
stuff.
he
Right.
feels that he was born a woman. He wants to
and
dress like a
if
woman.
my 9-year-old,
So I'm gonna take my
this is what I'm
child.
talking about in context. It's not about being transgender. And like I said before, if my 9-year-old comes to me and says, "Hey, Daddy, I want to put on makeup," I'm gonna say no. But if my 9-year-old says to me, "Hey, I need to put this makeup on for my dance show," then it's like, "All right, come on, do your show." And then when the show's over, we're gonna go wash your face. You're not walking
Because
around.
it's not appropriate for your age.
It's not exactly.
My
Exactly.
9-year-old son comes to me and talk about
But
he want to put on
this is-
makeup on.
listen,
I'm
for a
going
reason.
to try to I'm going to try to get down to the bottom of why you want to put on makeup. What is making you feel that way to make you want to do that?
Right, and then once you do that, you're gonna go put on makeup. Y'all gonna put on makeup and you're gonna send them to school.
Dog, if my child is
if your 9-year-old says like your 9-year-old, you okay? Yes, you.
We're gonna have conversations. I'm gonna discuss with them about. If this is
but
how
my
you
9-year-old
feel,
daughter's
that's
not
fine.
going to school with a beat face. Why is my 9-year-old son allowed to go to school with a beat face? Regardless of the sexuality, why at this age?
Your 9-year-old will not be allowed to do that.
When my son is 15, 16, or 18, when at the age where that's what they're doing, then and I'm accepting of him, then go by all means.
Well, the kids,
I see 6-year-olds with eyeshadow and lipstick.
Okay, understood.
Because you do have I just looked up his age. He's 12. You have a lot of preteens where that's where they're getting into the whole beauty factor of feeling more like a girl.
That part I'm agreeing with you. Like I'm saying, like I equate it all to.
They want to put at that point in time. That's where they semi think that they're grown. They want to.
I'm telling you, I gotta do the same thing. My daughter is 9. She's on the same trip. She wants to do all the same thing. It's levels though, and she's in ballet, and she was putting on. Listen, my daughter's 9 years old now.
He's 12. So
you're not letting me talk. I understand is what I'm saying.
No, you can't understand if you keep mentioning this 9-year-old and we're talking about a 12-year-old.
Why not though? Why not? Why are you not listening to me? Why can I not make my point? I'm saying it went up. It goes up levels. You have to progress at whatever his age is. Whatever his age is, he's not at a level where I'm going to.
And I'm telling you that in middle school they're wearing acrylic nails. They're wearing full faces.
Why is what I gotta say not important, yo? If I'm saying, at 9 years old, my daughter wants to put on makeup, and I'm not gonna let her put on makeup now. But when she's 13, she can wear. When she's 12, 13, she can wear makeup to school. What's wrong with that?
What Tab is saying is there's a certain level of normalcy of the things that D-Wade is allowing his son to do. He is 12. Tab works in an environment where she sees kids of that age all the time. So she is more so putting out there that, hey, although this image makes people feel uncomfortable, it's nothing outside of the norm of what many people are actually allowing their 12, 13-year-olds to do.
Period.
So we're just bringing your point full circle, in that you may still decide to be strict and say your daughter.
I'm not strict at all. I make it a point to, like, regardless of my views, that she as a female, I leave most of that to her mom. You know, I was like, okay, you handle that. That's female stuff. Decisions on makeup and stuff like that. I don't put my views in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, if your mom as a female says that's acceptable, then that's what we're gonna go with.
You can walk across.
Simple as that. Regardless of how I feel about it. All I'm saying is, in the situation, let it be understood that people are, like you said, even me, I'm disagreeing or uncomfortable with the parenting, not his sexuality. It's the age and how his sexuality is being expressed.
Yeah, I mean, I understand at the end of the day, for you, I think for the most part, even after everything was kind of explained, I think that for you personally, the Pride Festival was a little step
y'all
too
kept
far.
bringing that up. I was not saying that. I kept saying let that go.
We're just gonna rewatch this shit because you're gonna realize that you was not saying shit.
I love it when you say that rewatch shit. I said Pride Festival when I was listing things. I said Pride, crop top, nails, whatever, and then y'all kept throwing back to the festival shit. And I'm like, okay, let that part go.
That was the
There's a whole
only
list
thing
of
that
shit I'm
wasn't
talking
necessarily
about.
quote unquote age appropriate.
Okay, cool. But y'all are the ones
But
that
then
kept bringing it up.
but
I
then
said
you lying
one time.
drinking a margarita. Like, come on, like.
I didn't lie. I said,
He
I
had
asked, was there not a picture of him holding up a margarita? I did not say I
But
knew
no, because you continue to say when you were rambling, oh,
Yo,
you
y'all
have your
wild,
12-year-old
son.
out here drinking margaritas at
First
the
of
parade.
all,
That's exactly what you said.
I don't understand why y'all are so upset. Let's clear something up.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about Kanye, or I don't give a fuck about Dwayne Wade's son or how they parent their household. We're discussing the topic and we're discussing what was being discussed in my feed throughout the week, right? We're discussing what I've been seeing.
I'm still
what
you said.
the feedback I've been getting from people who see that. I was just giving a different perspective, right? That's it.
I thought
So,
we agreed that there was.
We gave you
So,
that. We
so
said,
why you keep saying that it's mine? I don't give a
I
fuck
said
about
you
this shit.
feel like
You talking about I
was
lied
bad
about it, Mark? I
parent.
asked the question, was there not a picture? I was not paying attention that much to even know if there was one. That's why I asked. I said, yo, was there not a picture of him on the float with the margarita glass? Y'all said no. Okay, cool, move on. Like, well, I don't understand why y'all keep making that shit so deep.
It is a very deep ass conversation,
But
and
not
we
to
did.
me, though. Y'all make that shit personal. Like I have a personal
Nigga,
vendetta.
you the
against
only one who been sitting here yelling the whole fucking time. Ain't
That shit's
like
wild,
you've
bro.
been
That
going
shit you
ham
talking
over this
Bro,
shit.
because you keep talking about, oh, what's your point? You don't got no point. If I'm clearly
You
making a point
didn't until
about
I
parenting.
asked you what was your point, and you explained it in a
That
sentence.
shit is, yo,
like
that
I
shit's
asked you
wild,
to.
son. I said, I've been talking about parenting this whole time. Even when you started, I said, yo, you
Nigga,
didn't address my question.
I said,
That's the first thing I
what is
said.
the point? Whose position?
He asked you to pick
But then I
a
said,
side.
whose position were you on? Explain it so we won't have to be trying
And
to
that-
deep
and that's
listen
what I'm
to
going. I'm not on nobody's side. I don't give a fuck about this shit. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Perfectly fine with me.
No, you end it like that. That's
Come on,
it.
we gonna talk about this shit so we can end it on a positive vibe.
I didn't think it was gonna go this way. I honestly, in my mind, what I was expecting was for some way for us to pull it all in and say, you know what? You know, the whole be a good parent, peace and love is everything is what I was expecting from us to go. But as always, what I expect is never what happens. So,
Someone who was just truly unfiltered.
I ain't gonna lie, it kind of just cause that's just what I'll say it for off camera. Alright, that was literally my last topic. I don't have anything else.
This is my last episode of Unfiltered. I will not be returning to the cast. I hope you guys enjoy everything, and yeah.
He might be telling the truth. I don't know.
I know one person on the couch won't care.
Alright, you guys. We never even got a chance to introduce the episode for today, but we hope that you guys enjoyed yourself. We really just went into it, and I was gonna stop us at one point, but then I was like, I like the way this feels. So, anyways,
You can never read energy.
Did I watch T.I. on the Red Table Talk?
Oh hell!
Now you
Cut! We not finna talk about another bad parent, okay?
we ain't go. We'll
Now,
another
pick
bad-
that
That's a bad parent.
Another bad parent?
They said
Yeah.
that it didn't
We'll talk about
happen.
you.
Ooh. So with that being said, I'm gonna call it.
Please cut
call it what it
before
is.
we
Okay,
talk
because
Because
we're unfiltered.
me and Uncle need to have a conversation.
Ding.